As a licensed influencer who hasn't used either of these helmets, here's my dishonest comparison between the Scorpion RF1400 and the LS2 Citation 2. Now, I'm not going to go into much of the differences that you could find online. I'm just going to go through what it's like to actually use these. Starting with the LS2, it feels a lot lighter on my head than the Scorpion does. And I really like the way that the front latch allows the visor to rest open just enough to let airflow in while still protecting your eyes. That's honestly why I've spent so much time wearing this helmet. Also, I do appreciate these top vents. They seem to work better than the Scorpions. In regards to fit, the cheek pads on the LS2 go down a little bit further, so it feels more like it's cradling your chin. I kind of like the fit, it feels a little bit more secure. But honestly, that's kind of where the good things I had to say about this helmet end. Let's start with the build quality. The first thing I noticed is this helmet seems almost a little hollow. If you tap it just right on the side, you'll hear a ringing sound, which doesn't really inspire confidence. I don't know how much of a problem that really is though. Also, I totally cannot stand the drop-down sun visor. The mechanism is loose enough where sometimes it'll randomly just start falling down into your vision slowly over time, and the sun visor itself is so blue tinted that it is just distracting to use. Speaking of visors, all the LS2 visors I've tried are significantly less fog resistant than the Scorpion visors I've tried. And even though this helmet has speaker pockets, the way they are shaped cause uncomfortable pressure on my ears. So I had to end up shaving out some of the foam just to get it so I could comfortably wear this helmet. Also, the chin skirt can fold inwards, and whenever you put on your helmet, that makes it easier to put the helmet on, but it also means you have to pull it back out after you get your helmet fully on, which is just really annoying. So it's not a bad helmet, but it's also got some really weird quirks that just kind of make it feel cheap. Now, the Scorpion, on the other hand, I haven't really had anywhere near as many issues with. I don't really like the visor slide mechanism because it's harder to find while you're riding around, but at least the sun visor doesn't have a weird color cast. And also it doesn't randomly fall down. And this helmet doesn't have any weird resonances or pinging whenever you tap it, which inspires a little bit more confidence for me. Also, generally speaking, I kind of like the visor mechanism a little bit more. It feels lighter weight, and since it doesn't have the U-shaped latch, that doesn't end up blocking your vision if you have the visor halfway open. The chin skirt on this helmet doesn't have any weirdness that kind of gets in the way. It's just there and helps reduce turbulence in your helmet a little bit. The biggest thing that annoyed me on this helmet was that the ventilation just wasn't very good. And the speaker pockets are placed too far away from your ears, which will make any speakers sound thin and boxy. My workaround was to cut the tabs that held the speakers in and add the little foam spacers that came with my Cardo. That brought the speakers closer to my ears, which gave me good audio quality. Personally, I feel more comfortable recommending the Scorpion, unless you don't mind dealing with the annoyances of the LS2 to get a slightly lighter helmet that has a little bit better airflow. And to be honest, even though I'd recommend the Scorpion more, I found myself wearing this helmet a little bit more often just because it fit my head a little bit better, it's a lighter weight helmet, and has slightly better ventilation. But that's just my thoughts. Leave a comment and let me know what you would pick.